Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well. From wherever you're watching this channel, I'd like us to revisit the speech that SAMIA SULUHU delivered when he was taking the oath for her second term. Now, in the speech that SAMIA SULUHU delivered, there was a statement about international observers. And she congratulated the international observers for doing a diligent job.
Makundi yote ya waangalizi yameshatoa taarifa za awali na tunawashukuru kwa kuwa nasi na kwa heshima kubwa tumepokea maoni yao.
Now, because we know that South Africa is a member of SADC, I want us to look at the reaction from SADC, because SADC has delivered a statement. The South African Development Community Observer Mission delivered a damning assessment of Tanzania's 2025 general election, warning that intimidation, arrests, and an internet shutdown prevented citizens from freely exercising their democratic rights. So in a rare and unusual forthright preliminary report released on 3rd November, the SADC Electoral Observation Mission said the poll fell short of the requirements set by the bloc's own principles for democratic elections. So the verdict contrasts sharply with congratulatory messages from some African leaders, including President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who praised SAMIA SULUHU as a re-election despite widespread reports of violence. Now, according to the mission statement again, the mission cited harassment of its own monitors, including an incident in Tanga, where security forces were seized passports, interrogated observers, and forced them to delete photographs. Although voting remained largely calm in many areas, the mission recorded gunfire by police, low voter turnout, and an internet blackout that severely hindered election monitoring. It said the arrest of opposition figures, including opposition leader Tundu Lissu, who faces treason charges, and the disqualification of candidates such as ACT Wazalendo's Luhaga Mpina, created a tense and intimidating atmosphere that undermined multi-party competition. And this is what they said. These actions remove legitimate competition, discourage public participation, and limit voters' ability to express their democratic will. So without going further on this statement, what we are being confronted with is a scenario where SADC has disowned the report that SAMIA SULUHU delivered during her statement, you know. To cut the long story short, ladies and gentlemen, SAMIA SULUHU's statement was wrong. What the Observer Mission has delivered, for those of you who've been following the development, is that 1, these elections, the turnout was not as communicated by the electoral body. 2, these numbers which were communicated, around 30-something million, were not the correct position. That's according to the statement from SADC. 3, because according to them, they say the turnout was poor. So if the turnout was poor and Tanzania has close to 37 million votes, then how could they just have said that the turnout was about 90-something%? I mean, these are all things that are statements which are contradicting, because according to SADC, the turnout was poor. I agree with SADC because I personally saw a video, one video of a certain polling station where Mama SAMIA SULUHU had gone to cast her vote. In that polling station, you could tell that the turnout was very poor. So how they managed to come up with all those millions of votes, 30-something millions of votes, which were counted in 2 days, we still don't understand. And that is why SADC is coming out and saying that this election was not democratic. This election the result did not reflect the will of the people. this was a manufactured election. According to SADC, they are short of telling us that the results were manufactured. You know, it's just like the case of 2017 when Raila told us that vifaranga of a computer, numbers were manufactured. So even in this case, numbers were manufactured, and the electoral body gave a certificate to someone whose results cannot be contested no matter what may happen. There is no way you can contest what was declared by the electoral body. So it means, despite the fact that SADC has given their position, despite the fact that this election was not free and fair, but there's nothing that can be done. What can be done is that SAMIA SULUHU will be allowed to run to be the president for the next 5 years. Then it's a very unfortunate scenario, but that is what is happening. Nothing can be done. I think I gave you a story about the part concerning Tanzania's constitution, that once the electoral body has issued a certificate, nothing can be done. It's just like Kenya back in the days. Remember during Mwai Kibaki, and Mwai Kibaki had been given a certificate, then was sworn in at night without people. In this case of SAMIA, we also saw the swearing in which took place in Dodoma. That swearing in, there were no people there. It was nimali ni kama ilikuwa imetengwa kando for that event. But Tanzanians were not there. It was just the invited few who were there with the military, you know. That is the only thing we observed. So that is just akin to what we saw in 2007 when Kibaki was still alive. And Kibaki had been given the certificate by Kivuitu. And Kivuitu appeared to have been forced by some certain forces to issue that certificate to Mwai Kibaki. So he ended up doing it. What happened thereafter is that Kibaki was sworn in at night without citizens. And that's why you find that in the 2010 constitution, that habit of someone being sworn in mysteriously has been was actually addressed by making sure that you must be sworn in the presence of Kenyans. Mambo ya kuwa sworn in usiku wa manane, that was abolished. It has to be in the presence of people. So if the president is going to pay all the people to come and witness the swearing in, it's okay. But it has to be in the presence of people. It's unlike the case of SAMIA SULUHU whereby hakuna watu. That is why there was been concern that why were you afraid of the people? If at all you got all those 90% votes, 90+% votes, then why were you afraid of the people? I remember in 2002 when Mwai Kibaki won, and he won with a landslide, but it was not 90%. But even though the stadium was filled with many people who were happy, wanted to, to see another presidency in Mwai Kibaki. So we expected that if at all SAMIA SULUHU got the 90+ votes that has been shared by the electoral body, then they could have just allowed Tanzanians to be present there and witness the swearing in, because according to the numbers, almost each and every citizen of the Republic of Tanzania voted for SAMIA SULUHU. So, ladies and gentlemen, just go below in the comment section and tell us what you think about the SADC report. So, SADC has given its own position, which is contrary to SAMIA SULUHU's position. So, in a nutshell, what they are saying is that whatever SAMIA SULUHU was saying is not correct. That the correct position is that they were harassed, passports seized, photos deleted, many videos also deleted because actually the observer missions, they take pictures, they take videos, they take their own materials that they'll need to audit an election. In this case, the preliminary report has indicated that it was not free and fair. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.